And I began to cry out, God, if you're real, I swear to you, if you get me out of this, I will serve you with my whole life. Please hear my prayers. During that whole 8-year experience in the sex industry, not one Christian reached out to me. They knew what kind of person I was when I walked by them. I walked by churches all the time. In fact, I knew a couple pastors. Men in church, they're not all saintly like we all think, huh? In fact, 50% of them are viewing pornography, according to stats online, contributing to the abuse and degradation of little girls who never had a chance to grow up. That's what people are doing when they view porn. I hope you men are hearing me today. The next time you watch a porn movie, I want you to ask yourself, I wonder what her name is. I wonder if her father ever loved her. What are her parents? Is she a drug addict? I'm telling you right now, 90% of people in the porn industry use drugs, and I'm not the only voice to say so. You can easily find this information online. I have never met a porn star yet who didn't use drugs or alcohol. In fact, most of them are addicted to Xanax, which is a prescription drug, because they're so anxious. We're full of anxiety, worrying if we're going to catch something all the time, watching our back all the time. Not too long after I got herpes, I quit the porn industry and said, well, I'll just go back to prostitution. I'll just have sex with a condom in between outbreaks and won't hurt anybody. Right away, I infected a married couple. It was their first time they ever had a prostitute, and they caught herpes from me. And I just looked at God and go, what am I going to do? Thinking he wasn't listening. Not too long after, I met a pastor's son in a bar. He asked me if he could buy me a drink. I said, yeah, whatever. You want to go out? No, I don't date, okay? I charge about $300 an hour, and I doubt you can afford that. He's like, no, really, maybe we could go out and just play pool sometime. I'm like, no. And he goes, do you get high? I'm like, well, yeah, I do that. Now you're talking. Like, what do you got? Meth. He was a meth dealer, even though he was a pastor's son. I guess what had happened was his father, when he was a pastor, fell to sexual sin, and they had lost everything. So for 2 years, my husband turned to drugs, but he was raised actually in a very healthy household and loved God with his whole heart, but he was just lost in sin. So when I knew he had meth, I said, bring it on. I'll go out with you. I'll just use this guy for all his meth, and we'll make him buy me drinks too. It was all about using men. No man, to this day, I've never ever supported a man. I don't even understand girls who support men, because we're all like, no, you pay for us. Well, he started coming over to my house, bringing all this meth, and we'd be just snorting it. Next thing you know, we'd grab the Bible and go, dude, look what Joshua did. No, really, Moses really did part the Red Sea. Are you serious? No, what about Esau? And all of a sudden I'm like, oh my gosh, we're getting high in meth reading the Bible? And I began to stop working. I began to not want to work as much and just spend time with this guy. He'd bring over checkers and cribbage, and we'd start playing games. I hadn't played games since I was a kid. And we'd sit there like little kids, I'm going to win. And he just really was my friend. It was the first man who hadn't pursued me sexually. And he was the first man to speak into my eyes and take an interest in me as a human being. It was amazing. I didn't want to work anymore. I just wanted to be with this beautiful angel. And I started to figure out, God, is this from you? I was not attracted to him. I didn't love him because I didn't even love myself. But all I know is the love that came out of him was like food. It was like air. I had to have it. Couldn't live without it. And he listened to my sad story. He asked me what had happened, and I told him the whole thing. And he said, Shelley, that is so sad. I want to marry you. I want to rescue you. I said, I can't. I'm not marriage material. I'm not marriage material. I have a big, big black heart. I have all this rage I've suppressed for years, all this pressure, all this pain. I'm ugly inside. He said, I don't care. I'll marry you. I said, I have herpes. I don't care. God will protect us. He was all like this blind faith. And I went, stupid guy. But on February 14th, I walked downstairs because God had been talking to me. you're going to marry him. I'm like, oh my gosh, you're going to make me marry some guy that I have like no feeling for. And I just, by then, you're beat, you're whipped. I was desperate. Who cares? As long as the guy's nice to me, I'm tired. I was so tired. When I got married, I slept for about 3 years. No, I'm dead serious. Well, I walked down the stairs and said, fine, I'll marry you. Let's go. Put on some stupid little dress I had because I didn't even have a proper dress to wear. And we walked up in the Justice of Peace, and I go, how much? That'll be $35. What did you say? You said it cost $35 for me to get married? Oh my gosh. That's how much I got paid on my first trick. And I knew it was God. I got paid $35 to go into the industry and $35 to get out. And I walked upstairs and married this guy, and it was the hardest thing I ever had to do because the devil's like, you don't want to do this. No, seriously, you do not want to get married to this guy. And it was like the Holy Spirit possessed me. I just went, oh, I do. And, of course, when we first got married, it was a total disaster. No, he didn't just go and rescue me. He lost his job right away due to meth use. He had to have knee surgery, so I had this major temptation to go back into the industry and to strip, and God had another plan. When Garrett's knees got better, he joined the Army. I said, you got to do something. You might as well join the Army, and he did. And he sobered up real fast in basic training because he was already a champion inside. He knew he was great. He was raised by great parents, and so he rehabbed very quickly. Me, on the other hand, was totally thrashed and shattered as a human being. When we got to Washington State, it rains about 300 days out of the year there. Sunny party girl was not used to that. Diva was not used to that. All of a sudden, I'm in this dark place going, oh, I can't live here. You have to transfer. I was a diva. I can't do this. He's like, Shelley, the military says we have to stay here. I'm like, and then I would go out and buy shrimp. He'd be like, you can't buy shrimp. I'm like, well, I don't eat beef. What do you want me to eat? I don't understand. Like, he just realized what he had really married. Not who, what. I mean, I did the laundry. You guys should have seen me. I tried to be good. I put the laundry all in there, all the colors together, the whole box of detergent. And it went and bubbles everywhere. And I was like, oh. And the devil's like, girl, go back where you belong. You're only good for one thing. That's the message that men have been sending me my whole life. You're good for sex. You're a sex object. From the neck down is all your worth is. Go back. I just began to be very depressed, very, very depressed. And I had horrific nightmares. I started having convulsions at night. I'd be like, what is wrong with me? And the nightmares. And I couldn't look at people in the eye. It was real weird. I couldn't be intimate. I couldn't be intimate with my husband. I had all these rules. I don't kiss. I don't do that. I don't do this. All of a sudden, the trauma started surfacing because I had a safe place now. I had no idea all this was in me, that I was this mentally ill. The people in the porn industry do not realize how sick they are. They are physically ill, mentally ill, drug addicts who are having sex on camera that some of you are watching. You are watching very sick people have sex. So I went down to the mental health clinic in the Army because I finally had medical insurance. I never went to the doctor since I had my daughter. And they said, well, what's your problem? I said, well, and I told my whole story. And after about 3 hours, the psychiatrist was like, oh, my gosh. That general or commander, whoever he was, had never heard a story like mine. He went, here's your prescription to Zoloft, lithium, counseling, and anger management videos every Monday, which only made me angrier. Are you insulting my intelligence? This is how you not be angry. Instead, do it this way. I was like, oh, this is so effing stupid. I used to talk like that. I need to have effect. So after I went there and got all this prescription, I took my Zoloft on my lithium, which made me like a hippie child. Nothing's wrong. I'll just sit here all day and exist and feel nothing. Literally anywhere, even physically. Not good for a new marriage. So God spoke to me and said, hey, Shelley,